I'm a little nervous.
Hey folks, this is Mitch Mitchell, and today we got something special for you. We're going to be doing an interview with Tess Eller and Joe Cunningham. They're representing the Swell Broadcasting Company, and you can read all the other stuff later on that I put in, but I'm going to let them talk more about themselves. So I'm going to give you a chance to meet them at least first. So both of y'all say hi and say who you are so that we know who's who.
Hi, I'm Tess Eller. I'm the CEO of the Swell Broadcast Company. I'm also the host of the mini web series that's coming up called Two in the Bush. I have an audio background. It's my passion. I love it. I also like to sing in the shower. Joe?
I am Joe Cunningham. I also like to sing in the shower. I'm the COO of Swell Broadcast Company, and Tess has decided that I'm also the secretary. So I executively produce the shows, and I host the podcast that we do that just launched today called TikTok. The subtitle is Game Changers and What Makes Them Tick. It's a show about entrepreneurs, for entrepreneurs and people interested in that community. And I help produce the other show. We're launching a documentary about Hack Upstate, kind of a comedic documentary, mockumentary. So I helped direct and produce that as well. So we are a team of creative people.
It was a ton of fun, the Hack Upstate, by the way.
And just the company in general. We have really good work chemistry. We give each other a hard time.
Yeah, there's trouble coming. I already see it.
Fun.
So I'm going to start with Tess just because I don't know if you're still in it, but you play in a band. Do you play an instrument? Do you sing? What do you do?
I am a singer.
She's an amazing singer.
I do sing. I very much love to sing. That is another passion of mine. I don't play an instrument, but I am the leading woman in the band, The Details.
So that's why you're inviting people every Friday night on Twitter to come down and see you do karaoke.
Karaoke is fun for everyone involved.
Yeah, I'm not doing it ever again. Anyway.
Never go after Tess in karaoke. Always go before. Just for future reference.
I found that intriguing because I was a music major in college. And so I actually sang weddings up until 1999. I finished my last wedding, got a standing ovation. The only one I ever got said, ain't going any higher than this, and I left.
Like Jerry Seinfeld, leave one, well, it's good.
Go out on top. Exactly. Exactly. And both of you just got your business licenses this year. I mean, how did that feel? I mean, I know I got mine in 2001. And no one knew about it whatsoever, but both of you guys got to put your pictures on Twitter. I wish we had Twitter back in 2000. Goodness, how did that feel?
Well, I definitely was very excited to get my DBA. I had no idea what a DBA was before this year, but it was the most exciting piece of paper I've ever held in my hand, most definitely.
Yeah, I took probably 45 pictures of her.
At least 45 pictures for one good one.
And she didn't really have to fake the pose. She was really excited about that. So I also got my DBA for another company about a month or two before. And yeah, it's just a great feeling to, have your own company officially. So yeah, it was really exciting.
It is a cool move, and it's a smart move. A lot of people start business and never go through that process, and it's not ever really a true business. So you guys are really taking this to heart, and you're really going to give it your best. And I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm proud of her too.
I'm proud of him.
Goodness, it's going to be one of these love fests.
No love fest.
We're not together.
We're partners, not partners.
We're not. We have this hashtag. It's partners, not partners. We're not.
You know what? I'm not starting that rumor. Actually, a couple months ago, Jill started that rumor indirectly when he said people think we're dating. Well, dude, of course, once you said that, everyone thinks that. I wouldn't have thought that if you hadn't said it. So, yep, look at him. He started that.
we kind of play with that. It's a lot of fun. Obviously, everybody can tell we're really sarcastic and funny. And that's actually, she's launching Two in the Bush, which is a web video series. And as well, our documentary has a very comedic tone. We're tackling a serious subject, but in a funny way. So we definitely use humor. We use humor a lot on Facebook and Twitter. We partner with a comedian. I like to call him a comedian. He's very humble. But Frank, also known as Dagsley on Twitter, but he's a friend of Mitch's as well. But he's very funny. We to use humor sometimes, of course, would probably offend some people, but everybody, you can't open your mouth without offending somebody. But
so why not play with it?
We're respectful, but yeah, we have fun. We were at the antique show last week. Tess also runs, her and her mom have an antique company called
Yachi Doms, which in Polish means here's where you get it. So I run that with my mom, and we had the joy of using all the props, and we dressed up and we did photo shoots.
Yeah, so we did a photo shoot for Swell. And
we drew in all the customers.
So we used
more stuff.
Yeah. Sometimes me, and sometimes Frank, and just that comedy and that community spirit. That's, I don't know, is that correct?
Yeah, that's
See,
correct.
I got to check with the CEO.
Works for me. Now let's talk about Joe for a second. I mean, because I met Joe and he was more talking about writing at the time, and I know you probably still do a lot of writing. What got you into writing?
Myself, when I was 2 years old, I drew a picture of a giraffe that my mom thought was really great. And then I got published as an artist when I was 4. And then I actually got disqualified from an art competition when I was in 3rd grade because they thought that I cheated and got like my uncle to draw it or something. So I've always been like an artist. I thought that was great. My mom was really mad about that, but I thought that was like better than 1st place. But I was always an artist and had like a creative interest. I would spend hours just drawing and everything, and I went to art classes and things. And then when I was in high school, my English teacher gave us writing assignments like every single week and made us read Shakespeare, 2 things that I didn't really do too much of beforehand, and I realized I could write. So I use the phrase, a picture says 1,000 words, but a few words can create 1,000 pictures. And that's kind of something that I've always been interested in film, and it takes good writing to do pretty much anything in media. Besides, there's the fine arts, painting, and all those other. Anyway, I'm putting my foot in my mouth. But what I mean is, I love creativity. I'm right-brained. I thrive on that. So when we got together, Tess and I was a journalist and a blogger, where I met Mitch as a blogger, and it just came together. She wanted to do podcasting, and I was doing that for the New Times, kind of more on a serious tone. And then, I've always had this love for radio, like old-time radio before television, the 40s, those mystery shows and stuff. And that's coming back with podcasting. So I was like, yeah, let's do this. It's really Tess's vision, Tess's dream. And I just hung on for the ride and tried to help her out. So I'm gonna shut up. And next.
No, well, but it's not just podcasting. It's little video. I can see you guys doing a whole lot of things. I've even seen you guys do a lot of things. So we're gonna come to that. But I need to get back to one other thing here, because you've done some script writing. I'm assuming you've done some editing on some scripts. I actually read a couple of movie scripts, and actually one of those movies got made. I was surprised, but still, I mean, how did you get into film? I mean, you're a big Indiana Jones guy, yeah, we're going to tell that one. How did that kind of come about?
Yeah, so my dad always brought movies home when I was a kid, so we would watch movies, and I was always fascinated by like the Disney movies, the animated stuff. I wanted to be an animator when I was younger, putting together the writing in the film. And then as I got older, I wanted to be like a Steven Spielberg and write and direct my own movies. I made some really bad student films, and just like I always had a passion for that. I've written 5 plays, directed them when I was in Dublin, and those were fun. And then when I was
wait, did he say Dublin?
Dublin.
I lived in Dublin for 2 years. I studied humanities over there. That was really fun.
Well, Cunningham, Dublin, okay.
Learned how to drink and other skills over there. And so I was in a writing club in college, and my mentor was friends with the producer of March of the Penguins, a guy named Ken Ferguson. He was a producer for National Geographic for a number of years. And he had partnered with the ex-partner of Mel Gibson, who produced every Mel Gibson movie from Man Without a Face until The Passion of the Christ. So Braveheart and What Women Want, We Were Soldiers, etc. So they got together and they made this company called Empower Pictures. Anyway, so my mentor knew that they were doing this documentary, and he gave me a book about that subject matter. It was basically like a history of a certain event that happened in Mexico. So I read the book, I wrote a documentary script, I sent it to Steve McAvity is the name of the producer, and didn't hear anything for 6 months. And meanwhile, in those 6 months, they got fed up with the script they were using. His wife read my script, and then he flew out coincidentally, or not, on my birthday, 21st birthday, to my school, and convinced me to work for them. So I worked for them on that documentary. I worked as a script consultant for a couple of films. 2 of them got made. One of them was called The Stony of Soraya. It got 2nd place in Toronto. It lost to Slumdog Millionaire, so it was a good loss.
Oh, you lost to a wuss movie. I'm kidding.
Yeah. It got Best Picture after that. It was a great movie. Anyway, it's about women's rights in Iran. And it got banned from Iran. It got really good press from the New York Times, Wall Street Journal. Everybody loved it. It was on Netflix for a while. I would look it up on IMDb, Stoning of Soraya. But we had an Oscar and an Emmy nominee in there. Jim Caviezel is in there. It's a good movie. Anyway, 4 months after it came out, stoning became illegal in Iran. So my producer called me and he's like, "We can't take credit for this, but we did this." So it was really cool. So I'm a big fan of like Blood Diamond and like those social justice movies. I have like a slew of those that I want to write. I'm working on a television show right now, but that's always just been a passion for me. My secret, not secret goal is to write an Oscar-winning script that gets Harrison Ford the Oscar. You got nominated for this. Never got it. So that's really my passion. That part of my own. I have a few companies. One of them is a film company, and I'm working on a television show. But that's like my entrepreneurial passion. After writing about entrepreneurship forever as an entrepreneur, startup journalist, kind of rubbed off on me, and I just, I was like, why? I came to this point where I was like, I can't look at my son, who's 2 years old now, and tell him, follow your dreams if I don't do it myself. So I did. I'm gonna shut up.
I do that same thing with my dog. I tell her, if you don't follow your dreams. I follow my dreams, Portia. You follow your dreams, small poodle.
There you go. We got right there deep, didn't we? Okay, so let's get into the meat of it. Swell. Why Swell?
Okay, so I am very much into vintage. I sell antiques, of course. So I love vintage, 30s through 50s. It's my favorite era. And it's very classy. It's very wholesome. It's very old school. Swell, I looked up tons of 50s words, sorry. And swell popped out because, like, oh, how are you? I'm Ginger Snappy. I'm swell. I love it because it's an old time word that really gets to the point. Like, you're swell, you're fine, you're happy, you're there and you're happy to be there.
It's succinct.
And that's how I feel every time I come to work. I feel swell, I feel happy about it. So that's where Swell came from. The broadcast company portion of it is because we do broadcasting. We do web video, we do podcasting, we are broadcasting just in a different way with new media and new platforms.
And I can add Swell because we want people to enjoy. We want to create quality content that's enjoyable. Obviously, it's going to hit certain demographics more than others, but like with Two in the Bush, it's a comedy show. We made ourselves laugh writing some content for that. And then we really spent a lot of time. It's been a couple months since we founded the company, but we just launched the first podcast minutes before we got on this Google chat, because really I thank Tess for this. You hear the phrase quality over quantity. We had so much quantity lined up, but we paused and we're like, we really have to make sure that this goes well. So
let me chime in there. Sorry. So quality over quantity. We were working on a lot of different podcasts. For TikTok in particular, we recorded a lot for TikTok, and I listened to the audio, being an audio major, and I didn't think it was something that I would be proud of putting out. So we put the brakes on, like the old song, put on the brakes.
I don't know
So
that
we
song.
did that. And
That song. Who did it?
on the brakes, yeah. So I put on the brakes.
Oh,
and-
wait, you're doing Curtis Blow, aren't you? These are the brakes.
Yeah, oh, these are the brakes.
Yeah,
So
okay.
Sorry, music.
anyway, so
Music
I
person.
took a break and we redid the entire format for the show to put out something that was a lot better than we intended. And it's all learning experience, of course, but I am much happier now than just putting something out that I wasn't very happy with.
How can people find that show right now?
Right now it's on SoundCloud and it's under TikTok, which
Or-
is on SoundCloud.
If you go to our Twitter, it's at.
Well, remember, you guys are going to give me all the links that are going to go in
we're
here
just-
on the bottom. So we're going to find it.
Anyway,
We're going to find all of that.
shameless plug. Keep
Because
looking.
I've heard a couple of the original interviews from way back when, and you know, okay, since you said it, I'll agree. Sound did need to be a little better. So I'm glad you guys have worked on that.
She's our CTO as well as CEO, Chief Technology Officer. So she's really put a lot of effort into making, not only the content, I'm more on the creative, speculative side of things. And she's, put a lot of effort into making the quality. You don't really notice bad quality sound until, there's a problem. Like you turn on the radio and like everything sounds great. And then all of a sudden there's some bad audio and you can't even like hear what's going on. You have to turn it up and it's fuzzy or whatever. And she's really put a lot of effort into making.
But being a startup, I'm working with the skeletons of what I have. So I figure that if I can learn how to work with what a startup can afford, then I would appreciate the higher quality equipment if I can learn how to work with what I have right now. And that's very important. Always learning experiences.
Yeah, that's the thing. We're not only it's like meta. We're interviewing startups and entrepreneurs, but we're a startup ourselves. So we go through those difficulties of a startup where, do you have sponsors? Do you have money? Do you have the equipment that you need? And then there's, the minimum viable product, how to get from point A to point B, and then start, the 0 to the 1, how to get that first thing out. I'm gonna shut up.
Now, now we're all based in Syracuse, New York area, just so that folks know this, because we'll have folks watching in other places. So a couple of questions I asked, everyone's not going to know, but we don't care. They'll look it up. So what made you decide to go to Syracuse CoWorks as opposed to the Tech Center or Tech Garden, whatever we call it now?
Well, I like the environment at Syracuse CoWorks. They are a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of creative people like myself. The building is just cool itself. And I came here for 1 Million Cups and I fell in love being here and I signed up, I think it was the next day. It's just the people here and the ambiance and the environment, it's very welcoming. And I would prefer to be around people that are more up my alley I guess I didn't really give the tech building a chance, but I liked it here. So I came here, I fell in love and I joined.
Well, just to add to that, the Tech Garden is great. I love what they're doing. I think it has a little bit different focus than here. Actually, Syracuse CoWorks used to live in the Tech Garden. The space in the back they were using was too small and it wasn't as open and welcoming and having as much space and equipment as they wanted. So Troy Evans, a real estate developer, bought this building here. We're actually in the CoWorks in our private office, but we also participate in the co-working space out there. Anyway, so Troy was a member of the co-working space inside of the Tech Garden. Anyway, we're still in some way affiliated with the Tech Garden. I know there's like a membership where their members can come over here, that sort of thing. But the Tech Garden is more, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, more focused on like building tech companies under the auspices of, there's private offices there, and there's also the student sandbox, and which is like an incubator, literally and not literally, where mentors are there for them. And then there's other programs that are run through Center State CEO that runs the Tech Garden. Specific there, but the beauty of the co-working space is like it sounds, you're working with other entrepreneurs and business owners directly, like in the same room, so you can bounce ideas off each other, that you can share you know, the Wi-Fi, the coffee. You know, it's only $100 to be here for 24 hours a day, every day of the month. They're also building. We just got Tess Eller, who's a member of the Tech Garden.
Not related to me. I thought, well, you know, I heard Tess Eller, so I started going through my ancestry.com, and Fuzz and I are not related.
No Fuzz, okay.
No Fuzz.
But anyway, he's a guy. He has a company that I'm not sure what company. I believe it's like voice recognition software. Anyway, he's in the Germinator program, which is like a business development program that's run by the Tech Garden. He's an audio guy. He has a sound studio, and he moved it from his barn where he was keeping it, as far as I know, here to Syracuse Cowork. So that's another resource that, for no added cost, they're setting it up now. We're going to be able to use to provide more quality podcasts.
A soundproof booth is spectacular.
You know, things like that. You can also, if you're a member, you can throw events here after hours. And, you know, if you were to rent an office downtown, not only it would just be you know, you wouldn't be interacting with other people on a regular basis. It would be way more expensive and not as much fun, I don't think. So
no, I love it
it's
here.
It's just great to be here. You know, you just come and go as you please and use the resources. And I know I've given business to other coworkers, you know, through their different jobs that are different companies that they have. And we've gotten a lot of feedback and resources. There's also the 1 Million Cups event that Tess was mentioning every Wednesday at 9 o'clock, 9 to 10. A different company will pitch their business and then get feedback from the group. And it's open to the public. Wednesdays are free co-working days. Anybody can come and work all day, 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 to get a sense of. Anyway, it's a great place to work. I'm like a constant advertisement for the space. But
yeah, you know, you guys had that thing starting at 11 o'clock instead. I'd be there more often.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I know. Sometimes it's rough. I get there like 9, 10.
I don't got time to pick up the Harrison Bakery donuts if
oh, man, that first time when you guys, I love that. Love that. So the only reason I mentioned the Tech Garden is because it used to be years ago when they had first opened it up that their only qualification was that there had to be the possibility that it would create upward at least 10 jobs somewhere along the way. Ooh. And I haven't kept up with it. Nasser Ali used to be the guy who used to run it, and then once he left, I really don't know anything about it. It's a cool space, and I know that it has some areas where you could probably set up equipment and, you know, have you know, great sound. I'm not saying you don't have great sound now, but you know, it was kind of, well, it was a lot smaller then. Well, let's see, it was a big place, but it didn't have tons of people then. I'm sure they have a lot more people now. I haven't even been in a Tech Garden in a couple of years. I used to go to a book thing that we were doing for a short period of time until we realized that there were only 2 of us who would actually read the book. It kind of messes things up if people aren't reading the book.
Yeah,
most definitely. You got to spark note it before you go.
Exactly. So now, talking to Swell Broadcasting, how did you come up with the ideas for the interviews and for the comedy? Are you at some point going to have music? You know, talk about that a little bit more.
Okay, so for the individual podcast, I plan on launching a few different ones because TikTok is the entrepreneurial show. So we write around what freelancers, innovators, and entrepreneurs do. So we write up questionnaires, we look them up, we see what they're about, and then when we do the initial interview, it can go one of 80 ways for the entire interview. So then we write voiceovers off of the interview and how we interacted with that person to really tell their story entirely. For the music, with being a startup, as soon as we have our sponsorships coming in, we can buy the royalties to music, etc. If with the web series, the Two in the Bush, we will be on site interviewing with cameras, so there's opportunities for bands to play, for me to interview them afterwards. I want to add in as much as I possibly can into those. But as far as the creative process goes for all of those and the comedy, really, it's how ridiculous you can be without having another boss telling you that you can't do something. And maybe it's a bad idea that I'm a boss because I don't really have a filter, but it's kind of working to my advantage so far. So
it's a lot of fun when She's the boss.
It is fun.
She's also in charge of HR.
I'm also the HR department, so he can do absolutely nothing as far as I'm concerned.
For music, though, we do have right now, Tess was in a band called The Details, so we have that music pre-recorded. And then we recorded my brother, Ben Cunningham, who's an amazing artist as well. So if you play our show that we launched today, you can hear Ben's music in the background.
Ben's music is in the background for that. The Details music was without me, but still very good, and that's going to be in a few of them coming up. They actually might be playing live in one of my web series in the background in a bar or something fun like that.
It's good to have friends, basically. So
I don't have any friends, so I wouldn't know.
I have my dog.
Well, a lot of
fish.
I'm just saying, like when you start a company, like it's just great. Like Ben wanted to do the music, for free, as opposed to like the royalties for other music was just very costly. We were able to get 2 sponsors to commit. One because I solicited it. The other contacted us after he had been on the show. So, but we're working on creating these media packages for them so that they don't just give us money, but it's really a worthwhile investment. We're able to show them, after we launched the show today and we have some analytics, we can say, well, this is what the bang for your buck is going to be. And
this is the reach that we can provide for you.
Yeah, so we do. I think it's great. When I launched the Syracuse New Times Entrepreneurship podcast about. It's been months now. February we did that. Getting foggy. Anyway, it was like pulling teeth trying to get sponsors. So it was really exciting that we could get some commitments right early on. And then we do have a vision. My vision is Tess. This is her passion project. Like they say, do what you love, and you don't work a day in your life, which is sort of true.
I'm working. I'm working. Definitely.
They say like follow your dreams and like do what you're passionate about. We both work. I have other companies. Tess works another job, but we dedicate a good amount of time to this, and we're building it up. But I really want to make it a sustainable business that not only are we doing what we love, but we're doing it well, and we're able to like employ other people and in the local community to be part of our team, producing it. The more 2 heads are better than one. When you have a lot of things to do, it's better to have professionals. I like to delegate to professionals rather than learn everything myself.
Right now I am teaching myself video, audio. We're starting at the ground level, so I am writing, I am producing, I am the engineer, I am editing, I'm distributing, and it is a lot. It's a lot, but it's worth it because I love doing it. It's very important that you enjoy what you're doing, or I want to be doing it.
It's hard. It's Elon Musk, one of the PayPal founders, and he's the CEO of Tesla. He has this principle. I think it's Elon Musk, either that or Peter Thiel, which is another one of those. The skeleton model for startups. So basically, like, even though there's great people out there who will help you start your business, if at the end of the day you have to be able to, it all falls back on you. So we didn't want to depend on, this one person or this one piece of thing that we were renting or something. Like at the end of the day, we wanted to be able to create our minimum viable product that we can get started on with ourselves, and we successfully were able to do that. So I suggest that because, like, at the end of the day, if somebody pulls the plug for some reason, non-maliciously or whatever, you're still able to produce your product, what you're trying to do anyway. Anyway, that's something I learned in the past, 3 months, 3.5 months. And Tess has been amazing. I got on the project because I wanted to help her create a show, and then we created the company around the show. And we just had a lot of fun doing it, but it's really been a struggle, and I've been really impressed. Tess has been more the entrepreneur than me on this, and just really making everything happen, putting it all together, and we're a good team. We help each other out. We yell at each other.
I don't yell. I'm just sassy.
I'm just joking. We keep ourselves going. It's like, where's this? What's going on with that? And what's our big goal? And then how our brass tacks, like, how can we actually do that based on
Joe
our
likes to
resources.
think of the big picture.
I think of both.
I like to think of the little
Gotta have your
steps
head
to
in
get
the
there
clouds and your feet
realistically.
on the ground.
Well, the thing is, it takes both. I mean, you know, I've been kind of at this for 14 years, and the thing is that I recognize that I have the big dream, and the big dream is to have 10 million in the bank by the time I'm 65. Ain't gonna happen unless something really big happens. Yet I got the big dream, and then I have the normal dream, which is the day-to-day thing, to get that money so I can kind of pay the bills, and hopefully a little bit more money so that I have time to clear my head and think about that next thing. And you know, that's you kind of need both, but it's just me. At least you guys have someone to bounce it off, and I find that really cool. And I think that's something that I lament, because in my day I didn't know anyone kind of like you guys who knew the entrepreneurial thing and whatever. It would have never been a consideration, you know, at that time. My family had no clue on it. So I envy you guys for at least having this knowledge already. And going into media especially is something wild. Because I'm making an assumption, which is a bad thing to do, but I do this every once in a while, that at some point you're not necessarily expecting you're always going to be the talent as far as the, you know, be doing all the movies. You're hoping to bring other people in so that you can help the company grow and go in different directions. Would I be wrong on that?
Well, as far as the podcast aspect goes, that is something where I would definitely bring somebody else in on. I am more of an on-camera kind of gal, and I very much enjoy being the talent with that, because that's where I personally work best.
And by the way, if I can just throw this in really quick, love the glamour shots. And the thing is, when I saw the glamour shots, I said to myself, you know, she's doing a Julia Louis-Dreyfus kind of thing. Because Julia Louis-Dreyfus, you know, she was on Seinfeld, and you said, okay, she's cute on the show, and then she showed up at one of those award shows, and you said, who the devil is that? I had no clue who that was until they said. I said, wow. So you keep doing that.
Well, thank you. But definitely, I would bring in talent for the podcast to help out, and I would definitely like to do the engineering aspect of that. But for Two in the Bush, oh, give me all the camera space.
Yeah, her and Frank Dagsley have, he had a great idea to do Periscope videos, and then he edited one of the videos and posted that as well. You can take a look. It's the Doritos roulette video, but as like
yeah, that was a little raw.
Right.
It was a little raw. I don't do well
like,
with spice, so it, you know, so things happen. You know, I can't really do much about it.
We haven't really that show per se, but like it was an ingenious way to like tease, you know, the show itself, because a lot of people don't understand. Like, if you really, I've launched 2 podcasts, and then we're launching this other show, and then this documentary and whatever. But if you really if you have an idea and you want to make it, you know, go from idea to actually create it and put it out there, it takes a lot more work than you're ever going to expect. So we've gotten on social media early on, as like, I come from a marketing background, as a way to, you know, build up a brand and build up a following, so that when we throw the show out there, it won't just be starting with 0 fans. So I think Frank has done a lot for us in terms of, you know, bringing on Periscope, bringing on the video element. But yeah, we do have a lot of fun. Wherever we go, whatever we do, I'm always like thinking about like how we can make it swell.
Well, Frank is definitely a genius.
Yes, Frank is
you're like the mother with the newborn who just takes all kind of pictures of the baby.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And it just
are you saying that I have a baby face?
The company is kind of like, I've heard startups compared to like a baby, and you have to like nurture it, and you have to like take care of it, and it takes a lot of work.
Oh my.
Anyway, we're not going to go too far in that analogy.
Well, I'll tell you this, Tess, you impressed me, because I didn't think you were going to be that close on the ice cream challenge. I just said, there's just no way she can do
only 1 cup away.
Well, I experienced what it's like to eat ice cream with a cavity. So I was
talking about our Periscope.
I was kicking under the table. I was like, oh, I was game mode, you know. No, I can.
Intense.
If it's a sweet, I can really put them back.
We did an ice cream challenge at Gannon's down the street here.
That's amazing.
Frank's comes up with these awesome ideas. He has this one I'm just gonna say it. Tess has to eat everything on the Taco Bell menu in 24 hours, so that's gonna be really.
We're gonna. That is a maybe a no. I kind of like my
really
look.
like that
I
idea.
don't.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff on the Taco Bell menu. One,
the deal is with these two, they're men, so they very much enjoy eating. I am a fairly small girl who does not enjoy eating that much all the time. So we're trying to come up with ideas that don't necessarily involve me spitting food out everywhere.
Just tell them what happened to Adam Richmond, and I think you can get off of that one.
Oh, was that the Super Size Me?
Man versus food.
Man versus food.
Oh, yeah, he got pretty big there for a while.
He got big, he got depressed, and he had to give it up. He went vegan, lost 60 pounds, and now talks about how much he hated that life. I'm thinking, wow. I mean, we love that show, but that was my wife and I would say every week, how is he able to do that stuff? Well, I guess it turns out you really can't over the long period of time.
Yeah, Super Size Me. I'm going to pause because I think a lot of our listeners now probably don't even know what we're talking about in terms of Two in the Bush. Tess, do you want to describe what that show is? We're talking about how we're preparing this. We're making this web video show. It's going to live on YouTube and our website. All
right.
So just tell us about the show. We went from these crazy ideas, and now I'm going to shut up. Tess is going to talk.
So I grew up on the show Seinfeld. It's my favorite show of all time. I just saw Jerry at the Landmark. It was great. But I am going to Two in the Bush is a comedy variety show in which I play myself. I want to be the next big broadcaster, but I'm very, very bad at it. I suck pretty much. I'm
going to disagree with that.
Okay.
But okay.
But in the show, I'm playing myself, and it's kind of this over-the-top, exaggerated version of experiences I've really had. So I try to go for my dreams. I quit my dead-end job. I'm going for it. And I don't really fit the mold for being a broadcaster. So in the second part of the show, it's Tess Tries It, where I have to get all these odd-end jobs to try to pay the rent pretty much.
Because she sucks in the first part.
Because I'm not very good at my passion.
It's like a Seinfeld. She plays
so the joy of working with Dagsley is that he is so funny, and that he's taking the entire spreadsheet of ideas that I had with Joe, and he is making them, we're storyboarding them out to really make sense for the story of a girl who just doesn't get that she's not good. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, Dagsley really saved the show because originally it was like a variety show. I mean, I love variety, and Tess had some amazing ideas. I had some pretty good
Lauren's
ideas.
Welk.
But like it was just like it was all over the place, like verbal diarrhea or something. It was just all over. That's a graphic image. Anyway, this is rated R for graphic imagery. Anyway. But Dagsley took all these ideas and he was like, wait a second, let's, the name, first of all, the name Two in the Bush. Like we came up with that, Morgan Jenkins helped us out with that because it's an old saying and we wanted to have that like.
The thing is he drops these names like we all know who these people are.
Okay, so just say that our friend was looking up names and she came across it and it hit a bell. I looked up what the real meaning of Two in the Bush was, and it's exactly what's really going on.
We were going for that, like, Always Sunny in Philadelphia opens, and it's like this old-time feel, but then it's a really, like, dark humor, crass, modern show. So we're going for this, like, we wanted to bring, like, the 50s and the 60s and the 40s feel, like that old-time feel, but then have this, like, new media fun show. So that was the thing that we were trying to get. And then Dagsley also came up, so obviously everybody knows, one in the hand is worth two in the bush. But then the reason it's called Two in the Bush, which we just kind of like did one of these, Dagsley came up with the meaning, which was, Tess is leaving her more cushy job to go for the two in the bush. She's leaving the one in the hand for the two in the bush. And then that being her broadcast career, her dream. And then because she sucks, in the show at the broadcasting, she has to do these odd jobs. So there's this two-part. We're going to be interviewing local and non-local celebrities, and then the second part is going to be this comic thing where she's at somebody's bar, restaurant, or business, working there and doing a bad job at that as well. So he really took all these ideas and really brought them into a concise two-part web series. So huge thanks to Dagsley. We put a tweet out there asking if anybody wanted to help out, and he responded immediately and enthusiastically.
Well, of course, Frank needs an outlet.
But I mean, it's a huge,
Frank
it's a big
definitely
commitment,
needs.
but it's one of his dreams
I can
as well.
see he has a lot to say, definitely, and I would love to be a vessel to say some of the things that he would like to put out there.
He's
So
a funny guy.
I really enjoy it, but it really is what happened. I did have a dead-end job, and I stayed there. It was supposed to be a month, and 2 years went by, and I kind of thought, my mom was hounding me. What are you doing? You're an entertainer. You're beautiful. You're just gonna get old and saggy, and so.
Your mom said you're gonna get old and saggy.
Yeah, she said pretty soon. She goes, you're gonna have the little underneath your chin. You're gonna be shaking in places you didn't know shook. So. No, she was giving me a hard time, and she's crazy, but she's a spectacular woman. But so she was hounding me all the time. They tried to they wanted me to be an LPN, a nurse, or like, Tess, you gotta do something else. Then Joe walked into the coffee shop and said, you and I need to have a meeting, pretty much. And and we talked, and he inspired me to use the degree in audio engineering and broadcasting that I already had and develop it. And it's a very scary step to leave something that you're comfortable with, to go for the two in the bush, to go for something that's more than what you're used to. And it has been the best experience of my life, is having the fear and the blind leap of faith to jump into something that you could easily fall on your face for, but I'm trying, and that means more to me than anything.
And I had this theory, before working into the coffee shop. I'd known Tess more like friends or friend, but I had this theory as a writer, as a professional writer. I was a startup journalist at the time, and doing a podcast about entrepreneurship through the New Times. And I had this theory that writers aren't writing. Like if you're interested in writing, if you're passionate about writing, maybe you're writing, but you're writing like a personal blog on the side. But there's so many other writing opportunities that you could be doing professionally that would really fulfill you in a bigger sense, because that's what you really want to do. That's what you're passionate about and you'd be good at, or maybe you don't even know you'd love it. Anyway, so I used the strategy of searching online through Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn for people who had broadcast degrees, because I was looking for more podcasters as one of the first in Syracuse that I knew of. I'm sure there's more that I'm ignorant of. But so I found Tess, that she had a broadcasting degree. And yeah, so that was and then I knew she was a friend of a friend. So we communicated online. That I went to the coffee shop, and I was like, hey, how would you like to run your own show? And she already had in college. You want to talk a little bit about that?
All right, so
the rest is history.
Auburn, New York, if you don't know, has a very large prison. And I was a part of the telecommunications department. We had our own radio show called Win 89 FM, Auburn's only alternative.
Oh my!
So we had a radio station that broadcast directly to the prison. So all of the lovely female radio personalities would get love letters from the prisoners. Marry me, I love you, I'm coming for you.
I'm coming for you. When I get out, I'm coming for you.
Yeah. So when they told me I needed to develop a on-air personality, I thought half these men have to be over the age of 50 because they've been in prison for a long time. So I looked up words.
Was it maximum security?
That I don't know. That meant I looked up words from when they were teenagers in the 50s, 60s, 70s. That meant a very unattractive woman. And I came across Bug-Eyed Betty, which is a frumpy, ugly, overweight, disgusting creature, that a bookworm. She's gross. And I said, this is perfect. So I
be her Twitter handle.
So I did Betty with the beats, and I had a man-hating hour, long story. But and I had a don't make that sandwich hour, which was pretty fun, and we had lots of call-ins for that. But I was Bug-Eyed Betty with the beats. I had like a little Russian accent. I was reborn in the wrong era.
Do the Russian accent.
No. But I was born in I can't do it anymore. But I was kooky then. So I had the joy of being on air, and I got the opportunity to do that. So that was the joy of college. But the FCC, wait, what's that rap song? The Eminem, FCC won't let me be. That one? So
the Federal
it's an Eminem song from back in the day. So the FCC puts lots of regulations on what you can say, what you can play, what you're allowed to talk about.
Swear words.
And the joy of doing podcasting is there's no regulations.
There's no regulations.
You know, still keep it classy, San Diego, but
San Diego.
you don't have any, you don't need a filter for being on air as far as that goes. So that's the story of Bugga Betty.
And I don't have a filter. Neither do you. So it's a great place for us.
Yeah, but at least you use your picture. He's using Harrison Ford's picture.
I know.
He's not me.
Actually, I met someone the other day on, off Twitter for the first time, and he was like, at least he's like, I could recognize you in this crowd because you look just like your avatar. And I was like, thank you so much. It's Harrison Ford from Blade Runner. He's got. Like,
I want to say Mitch is also shaking his head in disappointment right now.
It was so cool. I named my kid after Harrison Ford. Like.
Oh, my Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know, if I told you all the different people that folks over the years have said I look like, you'd be as curious as me.
Tell us.
It ain't happening. It's certainly not happening alive.
Who's your doppelganger? Your famous doppelganger?
I don't know. A lot of women from 20s movies. I've gotten a lot of Katy Perry, Zooey Deschanel when I used to have bangs.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Winona Ryder before
you know, Zooey Deschanel eyes. Okay, I could see that. Other than that, I'm not sure.
I don't know. I look like
You're the best version of yourself.
Yes, that's the way it should be. So this question, this is a two-part question. One, what platform are you using to put up the videos? And two, can you tell me a little bit more about Periscope? Because you know what, I'm an old guy. I've seen just a couple of these things. I see some of the people that I watch on YouTube that you guys have actually talked about, by the way. I'm trying to think of the young lady's name now. She's the girlfriend of this Matthew guy who does all the weird videos about the 50 top things or these 10 bad things, and he tells you all the stuff. You've talked about her. Nicole, I think, is her name.
Huh.
I think. Oh, no, that's right. You've been talking about the drunk one. You've been talking about...
Drunk Kitchen.
I love
Okay, yeah.
Drunk Kitchen.
Okay.
Talking about Hannah Hart. Okay. Well, anyhow, they started doing this Periscope thing, and I don't really understand it.
Okay, so for our podcast right now, I have them up on. I'm putting them up through SoundCloud.
Which goes on Apple and Google phones.
Yes, so it goes on Apple, Google, all that fun stuff. But I'm uploading the podcast to SoundCloud. I am doing which is directly on the website. There's the RSS feed right there. It's beautiful.
Facebook and Twitter.
But the videos are all going to YouTube. YouTube is the widest used platform for videos. I know Vimeo is also pretty big, and I'm going to look into using Vimeo as well. But YouTube is where we're going to be uploading our videos to for our own little page. As far as Periscope goes, I did not know what this little scope of Para was, other than people just kept talking about it. So we tried it.
And then one day, Frank came in and was like, we're doing a Periscope.
So you use your iPhone, you put the video on, and you can go live broadcast. You can live broadcast from your phone from anywhere and talk and do whatever you want. And people all around the world will pop in, and you'll see them join your video. They'll make comments to you. You can respond. They'll tell you to do different things.
Like in the corner.
They'll heart when you're talking. You get to interact with people all around the world.
They'll be like, do this or do that.
And it's a live stream video, which is what Periscope is. You're broadcasting live stream, and you're interacting live with people all over the world. So it's a great little way to broadcast live if you're at an event, or you have something really important to say, or you're sitting in your bed and you think you look funny. It doesn't matter what you're doing, but people will pop in and will watch your video. A little map pops up of the world with little tiny red dots on it. You click on one and it'll load the video from that location. And you can live join in on any video all around the world.
You can follow there's celebrities. Ellen does it in commercial breaks. There's other famous people who do it. And then unknowns, like you have Vine stars who were never, on Vine, who were never famous before, who became famous through Vine. You can basically just follow anybody. It's really cool. And it's a Twitter company. Twitter bought Periscope. So
you log in through your Twitter account.
The video, maybe 10 years ago, they couldn't even do this because the buffering would have been horrible, but it's really great quality. There's really no wait time. There's no lag or anything. I mean, it's just really, really well done.
There is one downfall of Periscope, though, is that it kills your battery. It will drain your battery so fast.
So plug in your phone.
So, you know, if you're out and about, you make your Periscope short and sweet, baby.
Or get a better phone.
Does it eat through your data as well?
Wait, what was that?
The
Sorry.
data.
Oh, if you are off Wi-Fi, it uses your data.
Okay.
So you definitely should be somewhere where you're connected to Wi-Fi, or it'll eat up your data as well.
Okay, so like when you guys were at the ice cream place, did they have Wi-Fi that made it outside?
I don't remember how we did that.
I am not positive on that. I think that we were just on LTE for that.
Okay, that's what I want. So that was my worry, is going through the data and, you know, eating up your gigs. Because I know my wife spent one night when she's in California watching YouTube videos. The next thing you know, we started getting these warnings. I said,
oh, no.
What's going on? Oh, yeah, that wasn't pretty.
Oh, my goodness. But Periscope is, I'm still learning more about it, and I want to use it more. But I am old school, where I like to record videos and I like to edit them, and I like to have the experience of working with footage. Doing it live is a very new format for me. It's very vulnerable, especially being a live host.
We're live right now.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's a lot safer behind an actual camera where you can edit it. But with Periscope, you can actually save the videos and you can edit them later to upload a short and sweet version of it with all the comments and everything on it, which is also very beneficial if you have a YouTube channel.
Is there also something called Meerkat?
Yeah, it's a competitor company to Periscope. They launched very quickly, from what I understand, to beat Periscope to market, but I've not used it myself. But listening to other people talk, I've heard that Periscope is the better app. But don't quote me on that because I haven't used both. I've used Periscope, great app. Haven't used Meerkat. Try them out if you want. But I think
they also have Periscope for Android, because I'm on Android, but I worried about the data thing. That's why I wanted to ask that question.
If you're on Wi-Fi, you're pretty safe. And then, you know, battery is just a matter of being conscientious.
And shouldn't you be turning your camera sideways, by the way? Won't you get like a different perspective than up and down, or how's that work?
I think, well, we did our sideways.
I
think you're supposed to do it up and down. Like that's the way that people like when people comment, they comment so it's like up and down. But when we did it, I did it like this because we wanted to use it in post-production and edit it. You can save it as well. So if someone were to follow you on Periscope through your Twitter handle, they can see videos that you saved from before, and vice versa. You can see other people's.
You can play back old videos that you live streamed.
Cool. Yeah.
It's just amazing. Part of me can't imagine anyone wanting to come back and watch a Periscope video. Then again, part of me imagine anyone's checking out my video channels, watching any of these things either. So,
well, my best friend, she Periscopes everything that she does. She'll be playing with a husky dog. She Periscopes it. She is doing a French press. She is Periscoping it. She is a Periscoping queen, but I always tune in. I love her. So she's
everybody has their own. It's like your own TV show.
Yeah,
it's your own reality show.
It's your own reality show,
or whatever you want it to be.
Only show the sweet stuff, though.
Yeah, is there a filter for that?
There is no filter.
There's no filter for that.
Oh wow!
I know that when Game of Thrones season 5 came out, that was when Periscope was really booming, and there was a big controversy with like HBO because, you know, the rights. I mean, obviously it's worse quality if you're watching someone who Periscopes the show, but then you're not paying for it either. So I mean, obviously we're artists, and you know, I think good people will be on the side of, you know, the artist needs to get paid. But as well, a friend of mine was telling me about, Chris Sacca, the investor one of the principal investors for Twitter, who's obviously promoting Periscope as a Twitter company. He mentioned that somebody was at the NCAA final and Periscoping the game, and then, you know, there's, you know, the rights and
it was a few seconds before you could watch it on TV.
Yeah,
so
when the last few seconds go.
It was
really interesting. They were seeing a live video of a couple seconds before everybody else on TV was able to see what was going on. So it's just really interesting. There's all sorts of pros and cons and controversies that come up with any new media. So yeah, it's really interesting. It's definitely going to develop. It's picking up steam. I think, you know, live video, we're on live video right now. is not gonna leave. It's just gonna continue to develop. But they've done a really good job. It's really seamless. It's a good app. We talked about Periscope a lot.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is that I like the idea of you doing the broadcasting company. I like that, what it looks like you're going to do. I like that you're starting local, with local people in local areas and whatever. I hope that you branch out and become national and
that's the goal. That's my
influencers. Heck, you know what? Maybe you just need to be trying to reach out and see if you can get Harrison Ford to do one of your programs. I mean, I think, that'll get things done really well.
Yeah.
Hell, I'd be happy with Carrot Top.
No, let's not do that.
He's cool. I can wear my red afro wig.
We are talking to a lot of local celebrities that have agreed to be on the show, so we're excited because there's that great crossover. Like we're on Mitch's show right now. Mitch has way more followers than we have, so it's exciting to be on the show because some of them will be interested in our stuff and vice versa. So we're doing a lot of collaborative stuff with some local people as well, for shameless plug reasons, and vice versa. We're going to be promoting them. It's all. We met with Ty Marshall, who's a local media professional. He was with the New Times, and now he does a lot of drama and other projects. But anyway, he had this great advice for us. From being a very successful online marketer to just be friends with everyone in the community, and that has served us well. Swell. Served us swell.
Swell. Gee.
Served us swell.
Served us swell.
And I'm old enough to remember the word swell, but the only time that I really totally remember it, just to show how things were back then, was an episode of Brady Bunch. When Bobby was trying to figure let's see, who was the middle one? Oh goodness, I can't remember. Peter, I think he was trying to figure out his place, and so he adopted a Humphrey Bogart thing, and he was talking about pork chops and applesauce. That's swell. It's just a line he kept saying in the
That's swell.
So here we go. This is the final minutes. Y'all were warned about this. You get to pitch yourself. I mean, I've had a wonderful time. This has been a lot of fun. But now pitch yourself. Tell people about your company. Tell people what you do really quick. Tell them where to find you. And folks, there are going to be links eventually down at the bottom here where you can find them everywhere, including that Netflix movie. I'm not letting you get off the hook on that one. We're going to find that one. If we were able to stop stoning in Iran, maybe, I don't want to go any further because I don't want to go political. I said it. There it is. I'm sorry. Go for it.
I'm going for it. I am Tess Eller. I'm the CEO, the technical director, editor, talent, and a lot of other things for the Swell Broadcast Company. This is Joe Cunningham. He is the secretary and COO of the Swell Broadcast Company.
Executive producer.
I own a company called the Swell Broadcast Company. We do podcasting, web video series, and we love the new marketing platforms, etc.
So we already have 2 sponsors. We're looking for more. We're also looking for people to be on our show, interviewed during Tess's Two in the Bush interview segment. And also we're looking for places for Tess to work as the second half of the show where she, is trying to pay the bills. So message us. You can go to swellbc.com. You can go at swellbc for our Twitter handle, the Swell Broadcast Company on Facebook. You can also find links to our shows, Two in the Bush on Twitter, TikTok, same thing on Facebook.
TikTok is also on SoundCloud now as of an hour ago.
And then we are launching our documentary on Hack Upstate, which we filmed a few months ago, and we're really excited about shortly. So look for those links on our social media and on our website. And then message us on our social accounts. What is our email address?
Our email is swellbroadcastco@gmail.com.
So if you want to be on the show, if you have ideas for the show,
if you have music that you would like to put out,
you want to put on the show. If you want to be a part of Swell Broadcast Company as behind the scenes or in the show, and then if you want to be a sponsor, we have product placement sponsors. We have a food sponsor, Hunk of Foods. And then we also have 2 other sponsors as well that we're going to be incorporating into the shows.
Yes, so
we have room for more.
So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Mitch, for having us. It's very much appreciated.
No, it's a lot of fun. And
Well time.
One of these days we'll get Frank on here as well. No, we're not.
Yeah. Actually, we're going to be celebrity bartending, Tess, Frank, and myself at the next Syracuse First Local Thirst at Beacon Skiff. It is August 12th, 4 to 7:30, I believe, at Beacon Skiff. So go on Syracuse First website, syracusefirst.org, and also social media. And the social media breakfast is tomorrow. Tess, I was about to say Swell. Tess is a panelist at the social media breakfast Syracuse tomorrow at 7:30 to 9, way early in the morning at the Tech Garden. So go to the Tech Garden tomorrow early in the morning, and we have Matt Major, Alicia Doherty, and Tess Eller will be speaking about podcasting and kind of like a group discussion, a panel discussion with Sarah Roche, who is hosting the discussion with Social Media Breakfast.
Yeah, and I'm on 3 hours sleep right now, and so 7:30 in the morning. I'm sure that's happening.
So if you can't be there tomorrow, you can also hear the podcast of that event. It's kind of a meta thing, podcast about podcasting later. So stay tuned. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and you'll be able to find that link as well.
Okay, beautiful. Well, y'all, I'm Mitch Mitchell. Tess, Joe, thank you so much for showing up. We will catch all y'all next time. Enjoy.